folks, byscreenside here today, bringing you a new speed build video. This video is called, or this build is called Sunburst Modern. Um, so called because it is in the modern style, and I used, well, you'll see here later in the video that I used the vintage glamour stuff rugs in kind of like an interesting way to kind of give the build a little bit of like extra personality, and so that is the reason for the title of this house. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath house. I built it in Oasis Springs on the dusty turf lot. So it's a 20 by 30 lot, and it will run your Sims about 121,000 simoleons. It's a pretty cute little house. I think it turned out really well, and I liked it. I used like a tan and turquoise, as you can probably see from the thumbnails. Um, it actually is a lot like the mid-size modern build that I did very early on in the channel. I want to say it's like my second video. It's actually one of the more popular videos on the channel, but that's funny to me because I really didn't know how to YouTube yet. I still barely know how to YouTube, but I really didn't know, like I really didn't know what I was doing in terms of like editing videos and stuff like that. So, but anyway, whole thing. But really quickly, well, I don't know about how quickly. I'm not going to make promises about how quickly this is going to happen, but there was something that I've been meaning to bring up in a video as like sort of an update. A couple, it's been about a month, maybe a little over a month. I posted a video a while back called Capulet House, and the day that I filmed that video, I was having like kind of a bad day because my my cat, I had taken him to the vet earlier that day, and he had a bump in his mouth, and there was some concern that the bump might be cancer, like a tumor. Like the day we went to the vet. Well, I didn't go to the vet that day. Like my boyfriend just took him because I think I had to work and I couldn't be there. Um, but he had said that like the vet like kind of acted like they didn't have a lot of hope. Like they acted like it didn't look like it was gonna be very good, a very good situation, and they went ahead and gave us like the quote of how much it was gonna cost to get a biopsy and everything. So I was really like upset and worried that particular day, and I've been meaning to let you guys know that we have since taken him back to the vet. Like we had to have him on antibiotics for 2 weeks, and then they went and they rechecked him. We had him rechecked, and the bump had gotten smaller. So she said it could be like it could have been that it was a secondary infection, like it is a tumor, but the tumor also had an infection, or it could be that that it's just an abscess, and so I want to do like another 2 weeks worth of antibiotics and then see what happens. So back on the 28th of December, we took him back, and the vet was really pleased, and she says she doesn't like it's shrunk down so small. She doesn't feel like it could be a tumor. She said she was really pleased with how well it was. So we got good news on that front. And so for those of you who watched that video and left me like kind, encouraging messages, I appreciate it. Thank you. And as of right now, things are looking pretty good. Like the bump wasn't entirely gone, but it had shrunk pretty significantly enough to where she felt like it's, probably fine. She said to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't get any bigger. But yeah, so that was a piece of good news, and I just kept meaning to let you guys know about it, but it was when I was sick, so like I kind of had forgotten about it. But yeah, so that is good news, and so thank you guys who, said nice things or left nice comments. I appreciate it, and thank you so much. And yeah, things are looking up. So we're we're doing a lot better in that department. So yeah. So I had a lot of fun building this particular house. Sometimes I will like look on Google Images for some sort of inspiration or sometimes I have like a really specific of idea of what I want to do. And then sometimes I just start building and see what shakes out. And this was one of those times that I just started building just just to see what kind of came out of it. And I really like this. I love the sort of like the way that the tan and white and turquoise all work together. And this is why I called it Sunburst Modern here. So you can see I used the rugs from the Vintage Glamour Stuff Pack to make this sort of detail. And you might like it, you might not. I think it looks really cool. Because I don't really think that those rugs look like necessarily fabric. Like they don't look plush or anything. So I think that they don't necessarily have to look like, it doesn't necessarily have to look like a rug. So I felt like that looked like it could potentially be like a pattern in the pavement, or something like that. Of course, if you don't like it, then you can easily just go ahead and take them out, no problem. Um, and still use this build. But if you like it, I liked it too. I thought I just like it looks kind of cute. I don't know. I don't know. Talking is hard. So anyway, um, yeah. So how's everybody doing today? Doing well? Good. I hope so. Um, I actually, I was thinking, I because so when a build just kind of happens, like it just like I wasn't really planning on anything or anything or had anything particular in mind. It's harder to talk about for me. Like I just, if there's a very specific inspiration or, a really like specific type of build, like Capulet House, for example, like there's a little bit more to say about it. This one was just sort of like I just sort of just started building and just went with it. So, but I was thinking of a story that I thought maybe some of you guys might appreciate because I don't know if you know this, if you don't aren't also a YouTuber, but YouTube has this like really nifty function where you can like look at like it has all these analytics of just information about like how your videos are viewed and blah blah blah. And one of the things that it has is a like gender demographic of like how like what gender groups are more likely to watch your videos. So like you can see what country, or what age group, or what gender. And I find that so far the majority of the folks that are watching my videos are female. It's like about 70-30, I would say, from like the demographics that are shown on YouTube. And so something reminded me of this story, and I thought, well, since there are a lot of gals who uh, watch this channel, I maybe they would appreciate the story. Of course, guys, you're welcome to listen too. You're not excluded from listening to this story just because you're male or anything. But I don't know. It was something that I just thought would be funny to share, and that was because the reason I think like it would be funny for the ladies who watch this video is because it's in regards to being a female gamer. Like okay, so anyway, like so years ago when when one of the Tekkens came out. I can't remember which one it was. It was when it was when it was like Xbox 360. It was Xbox 360 Tekken. Like I don't remember which number of Tekken it was. Um, but that's one of my favorite games. I like I'm really weird in the games that I like. I like simulation games like The Sims or City Skylines, and I like fighting games like Tekken or Soul Calibur. And like those are the majority of the types of games that I like. It's kind of weird. I know that's kind of a weird mixture, but whatever. So the day that this Tekken came out, I kind of want to say it was Tekken 6, but I don't really remember. Um, but when Xbox 360, you still had to get the physical game. So I went to the GameStop that day to pick up a copy of the new Tekken. I was really excited. And so I went into the GameStop and I walked to like area where the Xbox 360 games were, and I was looking and I didn't see Tekken there. I guess because it was a new release, for whatever reason, they had it like behind the counter. So I walked over to the counter and there was like a guy working the counter, and so I just said, "Hey, I want to get a copy of the new Tekken." And this like this is the most sexist thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. Now, that's a privilege because there are a lot of worse things that could have happened to me that could have been the most sexist things that have ever happened to me. There's a lot worse that I could have experienced. But this the guy, like, I asked him for a copy of the new Tekken, and he looks at me like I have three heads. First of all, like the look on his face is like 90% confusion, maybe like 10% like kind of irritation. I can't. To this day I can't. I've never puzzled out like why this was such an ordeal, but. I ask him for the new Tekken, and he pulls out like a clipboard, and he asks, like, he's like, "What's the name?" And so I I hadn't like I hadn't pre-ordered it or anything like that, and I didn't really think anything necessarily of him asking me like what's the name. I'm like, maybe they're doing this for statistical reasons. I don't know, but I was just so I gave him my name, and he looks, through the clipboard, and my name isn't there, and he was like, "Is this like pre-ordered in your boyfriend's name or something?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't pre-order it. I just came to get a copy because I knew it came out today." And he still looks thoroughly confused by this request of, "Can I have a video game?" And so like all this like not all of a sudden, but just it just so happened that at that moment a kid who was there with his mom shopping or whatever runs up behind me, like ready like to get in line behind me at the counter. And the guy who had been looking at the clipboard looks at the kid and goes, like, he turned around, he grabbed a copy of the Tekken, and then he sees the kid run up, and he goes to hand it to the kid, and he says, like, "Oh, this must be for you." Like, and the kid looks at him like the kid's super confused, and I'm like, "No, it's for me. Like, can I please like have a copy of this video game?" Like, he just assumed that this kid was my kid and was that the video game was must have been for him. And I'm like, "No, I'm a female person and I would like a copy of this video game, please." Like, why does this have to be so hard? It was like the weirdest, most like, is this really happening? Surreal, like sexist kind of thing. Like, yes, I would like a copy of a fighting video game, thank you. But it was so funny because even after that, like in the moment, I was just like so offended that like it was so like far beyond him of a concept that I could possibly want a video game. I mean I can only assume it was because I'm female, because he assumed it like because of the question about like, is this pre-ordered in your boyfriend's name or whatever. Um, but I was driving home later, and I had been so fixated on the fact that he couldn't wrap his brain around the fact that I was female and purchasing a video game, that it hit me like the kid who had run up behind me was like probably like maybe like 8 years old or something. And it just like sort of hit me like sort of like a good while later, like, "Hey, you think I have an 8-year-old kid? Like, how old do you think I am?" Like, so at first I was offended because Like it was so crazy to him that I could be female and purchasing a game. And then I got offended because I was like, you think I have an 8-year old kid? But then I really got to thinking about it. And I mean, technically, I was old enough. Like, I mean, like my body had been functioning long enough to possibly have had a child who was 8 years old, but I don't know, it was just a funny thing. But I thought since there are so many ladies who, you know, watch this channel and also clearly are gamers, that would be like a funny story that maybe you could relate to somewhat. I don't know. Or at least get a laugh out of, because I thought it was pretty funny. Anywho, so on to the build, which I have barely spoken about, because I really, there's not necessarily a lot of inspiration. I was just trying to make something pretty that I liked, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Initially, when I had started putting the floor plan together, I had only planned to do like a 2 bedroom, and then I decided that I did have room for like a small third bedroom, so I did wind up doing like a really small little kids room, but I don't think I've gotten to that part just yet in the video. One thing I did do a little bit differently with this build was I used the base game counters and cabinets, which I don't use very often, but I've kind of come to like appreciate them anew. Like I didn't really like them before, and then lately I've been seeing, because I mention this all the time, but I watch a lot of other builders on YouTube, a lot of other Sims 4 builders, and I've noticed that they tend to use them a lot, and so I've sort of just lately sort of noticed that, no, I kind of like those, and so I decided to use them in this build. And today, earlier, I've already started working on another build, and I have been struck down by the cabinet glitch of doom. All of a sudden, like I was, I don't even know what happened. Like I was building, I had put the cabinets up in the kitchen that I was building, and then I just all of a sudden noticed that the cabinets just got like really dark. So I'm sad now that the glitch appears to be affecting my game, and it just made me like want to stop building. So I'm sad. I did start a new save file though, so it might just be that particular save. So I thought I would try and fix the curtain glitch by doing a new save, and now I've got the cabinet glitch. So, ugh, we need to get a patch. It's been a while since we've gotten a patch, actually. So, we're due for a patch, and or we should be hearing pretty soon, like about a new game pack or stuff pack or something. It's January, and we've exhausted all the ones that we know about. So, I would assume we would have a game pack coming sometime fairly soon, but I don't know what. Of course, like I've mentioned, and I'm sure you're aware, there is some rumor and speculation about a game pack that has something to do with vampires or supernatural. I had mentioned in another build that it seemed like I had heard that that kind of stuff had been in the game files for a long time. But I don't know. I was reading more about it, and I saw like a video where somebody had like actually shown like the animations that they had found for vampires. So anyway, we're in the screenshots. I'm sorry I just talked about other stuff this whole time. Uh, but here's the living room, and then the foyer area, and those bamboo trees that I put on the side, they make really cool shadows and lights on the interior, and I really like that. Here's a shot of the kitchen with cabinets that are the correct color. This is like the upstairs patio section. This is the upstairs, just sort of study room. This is the main bathroom. There are 2 bathrooms, one's an ensuite, one's the main bathroom. This is the second bedroom, which I actually really like. Another view of the second bedroom. The view is really pretty out of these rooms. I put a lot of windows in this one. This is sort of the master bedroom that has an ensuite bathroom. Another shot of the master. And this would be the ensuite bathroom off the master. And this is the back patio. So thank you guys for watching. Leave any comments and suggestions and feedback that you might have for me. And I will see you next time. Bye.